insights, picks, results. This is Wizard Sports Picks. Beyond the Lines.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Lines, presented by Wizard Sports Picks. Friday, December 19th, Ian Cameron with you, and we are back to talk about all things from a sports betting standpoint. Before we get to today's games on the show, let's tell you about the website, wizardsportspicks.com. It has been a terrific run for me on the site, all sports streak right now that has been very strong over the last 30 days, profitable seasons year to date in multiple sports, NFL, NBA, college basketball, NHL, having strong, profitable, winning seasons in all those sports. But it's not just me on the website in great form. Our unbelievably talented stable of handicappers, a lot of them doing great things on the website. So make sure you get to the site, grab some premium picks, and check out wizardsportspicks.com and get on board if you haven't done so already. All right, let's get into Friday's games. We're going to talk about one college basketball game and one NHL game for this Friday on this show. We're going to go to college basketball with a Big East, Big Ten matchup. This is at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. This is where the Milwaukee Bucks play. We've got Villanova and Wisconsin. Wisconsin 4.5-point favorites, 150.5 the total in this game. We've got a Wisconsin team that will certainly be looking for a better result and better performance tonight following their last game, a game where it got pretty ugly for the Badgers, a 90-60 blowout loss at Nebraska, a Nebraska team that's pretty good, but still to give up 90 points in that game for Wisconsin and allow the Cornhuskers to shoot 54% from the field, 37% from three-point range, not what they wanted in that game. And Greg Gard, the head coach of Wisconsin, got after his team following that loss about their lack of guarding their opponent and lack of intensity, execution on the defensive end of the basketball court. We don't have a defensive identity. We haven't had one all year. So we'll search to find one, and I'll find guys that want to play defense. So not a happy coach was Greg Gard after that game against Nebraska. We'll see how they fare here tonight against a Villanova team that comes into this game, riding some momentum. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. Now, you can quibble about the schedule. It hasn't been overly tough for Villanova, and it is worth noting they did lose to Michigan and BYU away from home, by far the 2 toughest games that the Wildcats have played so far this season. The wins were Queens, Sacred Heart, Duquesne, LaSalle, Old Dominion, Temple, Penn. Not exactly a who's who of tremendous opponents. Now, they did beat Pittsburgh in their last game, 79-61. It was a very impressive showing. This will be a little bit tougher here. Obviously, this game is in Milwaukee, so the Badgers should have a decent amount of fan support, crowd support for this game. I do like the idea of backing Wisconsin here as a home favorite, or not a home favorite, but in-state game for them. Neutral court favorite, but definitely advantage Wisconsin based on the location. I do like the idea of getting behind Wisconsin in this spot. The one thing I can say about the Badgers is so far 7-3 on the season, but you look at the way they responded after their previous 2 losses, the 98-70 loss to BYU, and in their next game, they pummeled Providence 104-83. After a loss to TCU, 74-63, Wisconsin was able to bounce back, win, and cover against Northwestern, 85-73. So we have seen evidence of the Badgers being a good bounce-back team. Just don't know if Villanova has shown me enough prowess away from home against quality competition yet to trust them in this spot. And after Greg Gard kind of got after his team about their lack of defense in the last game, I would expect Wisconsin to certainly tighten it up at that end of the court. And I still think Wisconsin, just when you grade out these 2 rosters, still has a little bit the better team. So I will take Wisconsin here in this game, and we'll lay the 4.5 with Wisconsin as they look to bounce back tonight against Villanova. All right, let's go to the NHL. And for my NHL selection here for this edition of Beyond the Lines, we are going to go to a matchup between the New Jersey Devils and the Utah Mammoth. We have Utah minus 135, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Very, very solid win, albeit against a bit of a banged up injury-riddled Vegas Golden Knights team the other night for the New Jersey Devils at T-Mobile Arena, emerging the Devils with a 2-1 shootout victory. They will look to build on that here tonight against Utah. And I like the quotes for New Jersey. This is a team that has really not been able to get momentum, build momentum, get on a win streak. And all the talk from the Devils is, yeah, that was a great win against Vegas. We need to build on it. We need to string wins together and good performances together. Right, result aside, Jake Allen after the game saying we wanted to make progress and start pushing a little bit, get our game back in order, build some consistency with our group. And I thought Wednesday was a good step. We've got to progress here. This is a good start. It's a short road trip. We've got another chance in Utah against a good, skilled team before we go home and before we finish going into the break. I think our mindset is we want to finish the last 4 or 5 games on the right foot and take a break and then keep churning after Christmas. So the focus for the Devils is let's get some wins together before the break. And I think they catch Utah in possibly an optimal spot here for the Devils to take advantage of a Utah team that is coming home off a 3-game road trip. This will be 4 games in 6 nights for the Mammoth after a trip through Pittsburgh, Boston, and Detroit. They went 2-1 in those games, 3-1 in their last 4 games overall. They return home following that mini road trip. The last time they were in this situation, Utah, returning home off a road trip, they came back from a 4-game trip against San Jose, Anaheim, Vancouver, and Calgary. They lost the first game of that road trip against the LA Kings, or the first game of that homestand, I should say, following that road trip. They lost to LA 4-2. I like the value here with New Jersey. Tough scheduling spot for Utah. 4th game in 6 nights, all with travel. New Jersey trying to build some momentum here after a nice win against Vegas. I expect Jake Allen to be in net. Sheldon Keefe, the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, has been going back and forth between Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen, but we have started to see some separation. Jake Allen has been the better goalie. Jacob Markstrom has struggled. He hasn't had a great season so far. With Jake Allen, he's coming off a phenomenal performance against Vegas. We don't have starting goalies as of this recording, but I would be surprised if it's not Jake Allen. I would be surprised if Sheldon Keefe doesn't give Jake Allen a second consecutive start here tonight. And if he does, I think he's playing well. And like I said, Utah only 8-6 at home and coming off a road trip. This is a spot that Utah lost in just recently, coming off a road trip. Not to mention the Devils took both meetings last year in the head-to-head series versus the Utah Mammoth. Right now, you can get New Jersey anywhere from a +115 to +120 underdog. I think there's value on the road underdog here, so we will go with the New Jersey Devils +120 against the Utah Mammoth for my NHL selection here on this edition of Beyond the Lines for Friday, December 19th. That's a wrap for this edition of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you get to the website, wizardsportspicks.com, and get yourself some premium picks. I'm in action with bowl games, including multiple college football playoff games as premium picks this weekend, so make sure you check that out. Like I said, tons of great handicappers on the site, and a lot of them are in great form, so check out wizardsportspicks.com. That's a wrap. I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy the games and good luck, and thanks for tuning in to the Friday, December 19th edition of Beyond the Lines, presented by Wizard Sports Picks.